Welcome to Spectrum Sphere, your harbor for a diverse world of discovery. Today, we delve into the complex history of LSD, its impact, cultural significance, and the political maneuvers that led to its prohibition. If you're passionate about exploring the depths of science, history, and society, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and join us for weekly enlightening content. Let's get started. LSD, or lysergic acid diethylamide, was first synthesized in 1938 by Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann. While initially developed for psychiatric purposes, its profound effects weren't discovered until 5 years later. This accidental discovery marked the beginning of a tumultuous journey for LSD, both in medical circles and popular culture. In 1938, at the Sandoz Laboratories in Basel, Switzerland, Albert Hofmann first synthesized LSD while researching derivatives of ergot, a fungus found on rye. Little did he know that his creation would revolutionize the psychoactive landscape and ignite a cultural and political firestorm that would last for decades. Yet it was in 1943 when Hofmann, through accidental absorption, experienced the world's first LSD trip. He recounted sensory distortions, intense emotions, and a heightened sense of consciousness, pioneering a journey into the unknown that would fascinate the curious minds of generations to come. Amidst the countercultural ripple, scientists and doctors turned an astute eye towards LSD, fascinated by its therapeutic potential. The 50s and early 60s saw a surge of research, exploring how this potent molecule might aid in treating various psychiatric disorders, offering glimpses of hope for groundbreaking medical applications. As the 1950s gave way to the 60s, LSD transcended its scientific roots, seeping into the vibrant tapestry of American counterculture. Visionary artists, rebellious youth, and even political activists embraced the drug, seeking enlightenment and a radical departure from the conservative norms of the time. In the swirling colors of the 60s, artists and musicians discovered a muse in LSD. From the Beatles to Salvador Dali, the psychedelic influence fueled a wave of new perspectives, breaking through the boundaries of conventional creativity and giving rise to some of the era's most iconic works. As we dive deeper into the 1960s, America's political landscape was a crucible of change. With the Cold War lingering, civil rights battles intensifying, and Vietnam War protests escalating, a generation searched for their voice. This backdrop set the stage for LSD to become a symbol of rebellion and a government target. Amidst these transformative years, Richard Nixon ascended to the presidency, branding himself a law and order leader. His staunch stance on drugs, particularly psychedelics like LSD, reflected a broader agenda. Nixon saw strict drug control not only as public policy, but as a tool to quell the rising tide of dissent. The 1960s were marked by profound social upheaval. The civil rights movement was challenging racial segregation, while the anti-Vietnam War protests swept across America. These movements questioned authority and sought transformative change, a spirit echoed in the growing popularity of psychedelic substances like LSD. As the popularity of LSD grew, the government began painting a stark portrait of its users. Viewed as a threat to the status quo, LSD enthusiasts were labeled dangerous subversives. This narrative served to vilify the drug and those who used it, casting them as rebels against the social and political order. Nixon's war on drugs launched an era of strict drug prohibition, purportedly to protect public health and safety. Yet, critics assert this was a tactical move, less about safety and more a covert bid to dismantle his opposition, targeting anti-war leftists and the Black community to disrupt their unity and discourse. As the counterculture burgeoned, psychedelics like LSD became associated with political dissent. Nixon's administration sought to vilify these substances as means to marginalize groups they viewed as destabilizing, Black communities fighting for civil rights and anti-war activists. By casting LSD users as societal threats, the war on drugs intensified. Amidst the Vietnam War, LSD transcended mere experimentation, interweaving with the era's anti-war sentiment. This psychedelic wave emboldened war protesters, fostering a collective call for peace and love that directly contradicted the prevailing pro-war rhetoric. Authorities perceived it as a threat to social order, prompting stringent legislative action. The media's portrayal of LSD culture fueled a nationwide panic. Vivid headlines and sensationalist stories painted a picture of chaos and moral decay, framing psychedelic users as unstable and a menace to society. This fear-mongering, riddled with misinformation, shaped public perception and set the stage for political intervention. In 1970, the Controlled Substances Act was enacted, categorizing drugs into schedules based on their medical use and potential for abuse. LSD was placed in Schedule 1, the most restrictive category, reserved for substances with a high potential for abuse, no accepted medical use, and a lack of safe use under medical supervision. Schedule 1 is reserved for drugs deemed to have a high potential for abuse, no currently accepted medical treatment use, and a lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision. Despite early research indicating potential benefits, LSD was assigned to this category, effectively halting its therapeutic exploration. The prohibition of LSD dealt a significant blow to medical and scientific research. Promising studies exploring its potential therapeutic effects were abruptly discontinued. Funding dried up, stigma grew, and the substance fell out of favor with the scientific community, leaving decades of inquiry and innovation on indefinite hold. The ban on LSD sent shockwaves through the counterculture movements. Psychedelic users, often associated with anti-establishment ideologies, were pushed underground. This criminalization interrupted the exploration of consciousness and self-discovery that LSD represented for many, and it marginalized communities that were already under social and political scrutiny. In an astonishing admission, John Ehrlichman, a former Nixon aide, later revealed the true motive behind the war on drugs: to disrupt and vilify the anti-war left and Black communities. This startling confession uncovers the political machinations that prioritized an agenda over public health and safety. Despite Nixon's departure, the legacy of his war on drugs lived on, with subsequent administrations upholding and even expanding these policies. The hardline stance against substances like LSD entrenched itself into American law and public consciousness, affecting millions long after Nixon's political reign had ended. The stringent drug criminalization laws ushered in a new era of challenges for African American communities. Disproportionately targeted by these policies, these neighborhoods faced escalated rates of incarceration, disenfranchisement, and social stigma, perpetuating a cycle of hardship and inequality that resonated through generations. The war on drugs catalyzed the rise of mass incarceration, giving birth to the prison industrial complex. This led to the United States having the world's highest rate of imprisonment, where the consequences of a conviction often spiraled beyond the sentence, affecting communities and perpetuating cycles of poverty and marginalization. As we delve into the social and economic repercussions of the war on drugs, it's clear the toll extends far beyond policy. Marginalized communities bear the brunt, with resources funneled into enforcement over education, and the long-term societal impacts, from fractured families to diminished opportunities, are profound and far-reaching. As the 21st century progresses, we're witnessing a profound shift in attitudes towards LSD and other drugs. Once viewed through a lens of fear and criminality, growing public and scientific interest is now reigniting debates on their therapeutic potential and challenging long-held stigmas surrounding psychedelic substances. In the realm of medicine, a resurgence of interest in psychedelic research is unfolding. Scientists are now delving back into the therapeutic possibilities that psychedelics offer, investigating their role in treating a range of mental health disorders, a promising return to the once abandoned exploration of these powerful compounds. Modern clinical trials are revisiting LSD's potential, exploring its effects on various mental health conditions. Researchers are meticulously studying its efficacy in treating depression, anxiety, and PTSD, offering new hope that this long-stigmatized compound may revolutionize our approach to mental wellness. Amidst shifting perspectives, we're witnessing a wave of policy changes. Several states and countries are pioneering the decriminalization of LSD and other psychedelics, challenging old paradigms. This movement seeks to reduce harm, advance research, and correct the punitive legacy of past drug laws. As we delve deeper, a poignant realization emerges. The war on drugs, framed as a moral crusade, may in fact be an unwinnable war with devastating consequences. The collateral damage? Countless lives ensnared in criminal systems and communities eroded by disproportionate enforcement and sentencing. Amidst this backdrop of societal upheaval, a transformative perspective gains traction: harm reduction. This progressive approach emphasizes safety over punishment, seeking to mitigate the deleterious consequences of drug use through education, clean needle programs, and naloxone availability, rather than through the blunt instrument of criminalization. As we examine the global landscape, it's intriguing to note the contrast in drug policies. While the U.S. has long been stern in its approach, countries like Portugal have decriminalized all drugs, focusing on treatment over incarceration, and have seen significant drops in addiction and drug-related deaths. Let's pause to hear from those who bore the brunt of Nixon's war on drugs. Personal narratives reveal the deep scars left on communities, with countless individuals facing disproportionate sentences. These stories aren't just statistics. They represent lives derailed by a campaign with ulterior motives veiled as public safety. Now, diving into the numbers gives us a stark view of the aftermath. Current statistics showcase a grim picture of drug use, addiction, and notably, incarceration rates. These figures are more than just data. They reflect the enduring impact of policies that have filled prisons and strained communities. However, amidst these stark realities, an argument gains ground for shifting the paradigm from punitive measures to a public health approach. Advocates suggest that treating drug misuse as a medical issue, rather than solely a criminal one, could lead to more effective interventions and sustainable community health improvements. Activism and advocacy play crucial roles in challenging outdated drug laws. Tireless efforts by individuals and organizations push for policy reform, emphasizing human rights and public health. Their work aims to transform how we think about and treat drug use in society, planting seeds for legislative change. Decriminalizing and regulating drugs may unlock significant economic advantages. From reducing the costly burden on the criminal justice system to generating tax revenue through legal sales, a regulated market offers a financial upside. It reallocates funds toward health and educational programs, aiming to create positive societal shifts. Beyond policy change, education and preventative measures play a crucial role in curbing drug misuse. By informing individuals about potential risks and safety practices, we empower them to make better choices. Programs targeting youth can especially deter the initiation into drug use, creating a foundation for healthier communities. Even with shifting perspectives, communities hit hardest by decades of stringent drug laws still grapple with their aftermath. These laws have left lasting scars, from broken families to economic blight, as they continue to battle for equal treatment under the law and strive to heal from the war on drugs' deep-seated impacts. It's essential that we foster open conversations around these deep-rooted issues. By engaging in community dialogue, we can understand the diverse perspectives, navigate the complexities of drug policy, and work towards more equitable solutions. Everyone's voice is vital in shaping a fair and effective approach moving forward. As we reflect on the legacy of Nixon's drug policies, it's clear the long-term effects are still unfolding. Despite intentions, these laws have shaped an ongoing dialogue that questions effectiveness and fairness. Today's evolving conversation seeks healing, understanding, and a more just system for all impacted by these measures. We invite you to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on the lasting impacts of Nixon's war on drugs? Share your perspectives below, and if you're inspired to delve deeper, we encourage you to seek out more information and become a part of the solution in this ongoing issue. As we consider the future of drug policy, it's crucial to understand its historical context. The story of LSD's journey from a psychiatric wonder drug to a Schedule I substance reveals much about the social and political undercurrents that continue to influence today's laws and attitudes towards substances like LSD. Thank you for joining us on this in-depth exploration of LSD's complex history and its impact on society, past and present. We hope you found the journey as enlightening as we did. This has been Spectrum Sphere, where discovery never ends. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our content to keep the conversation going. Until next time.